BoatOat, the downfall of Oat Pasakorn. He apologizes. I used BL for money. What happens when the very thing that made you famous becomes the thing that destroys you? For Oat Pasakorn, one of Thailand's most beloved BL stars, that question became terrifyingly real. In a live-streamed confession that shocked fans worldwide, Oat admitted what many had suspected but never wanted to hear: I used BL for money. Those 4 words shattered a fandom, fractured friendships, and left the industry reeling. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update in the world of your favorite celebrities. The rise of BoatOat. To understand the gravity of this confession, we must first remember how it all began. Oat and his partner, BoatOat, were more than co-stars. Together, they were a phenomenon. From the streets of Bangkok to international fan meets, BoatOat became a symbol of love, hope, and storytelling that transcended boundaries. Their chemistry on screen was celebrated. Their laughter off-screen was adored. And for years, millions believed that their bond was authentic, a real connection that gave their performances an unmatchable depth. It was the kind of fame that actors dream of. But behind the glitz, something darker was brewing. The confession in a private livestream, Oat's usually competent demeanor crumbled. He spoke with hesitation, eyes red, voice low. I wanted success. I wanted to be loved. I thought if I followed the trend, if I gave fans what they wanted, it would be enough. I didn't realize I was hurting the people who believed in me the most. The apology was raw, unscripted, and hauntingly human. He continued, I know I disappointed Boat. I know I disappointed fans. I know I disappointed myself. I'm sorry. I truly am. For Boat, this was another blow. The man who had stood beside him through countless fan meetings, red carpets, and long nights on set now faced a truth that shook everything their partnership had been built on. The fandom erupts. The reaction was instantaneous. Fans flooded social media with anger, disbelief, and heartbreak. #BoatOat scandal trended worldwide. Some wrote in fury, how could he betray the trust of everyone who loved them? Others expressed sorrow, we still love Boat. We still love Oat. But we feel lost. Even international fans were torn, between disappointment and understanding, between rage and empathy. Boat's response: BoatOat, always the composed and loyal partner, remained silent publicly for hours. But when he finally addressed the media, his words carried a mix of pain and professionalism. I can't control someone else's choices. I can only acknowledge the truth and protect myself. My focus has always been on my work, and on moving forward. That's what I will continue to do. The words were calm, but the heartbreak behind them was visible to anyone paying close attention. The impact on their careers: the scandal immediately affected upcoming projects. The long-anticipated fan meeting, BoatOat, The Scarlet Bond, was postponed indefinitely. The new Omegaverse series, Not, was surrounded by controversy even before filming began. Sponsors reconsidered partnerships. Agencies scrambled. For Oat, the path to redemption suddenly became an uphill battle. His public image, once untouchable, now carried the weight of betrayal. And for Boat, every step forward would now be shadowed by the question, how do you rebuild trust when it's been broken in the eyes of millions? The lesson in silence for fans, the lesson was painfully clear. The world of fame is fragile. The lines between performance and personal life blur. And the very stories that bring joy to millions can also become tools of regret. Oat's apology was not just a statement. It was a confession of human weakness, of ambition, fear, and the price of chasing fame without conscience. The legacy of BoatOat: even amid scandal, the legacy of BoatOat remains undeniable. They revolutionized Thai BL, touched millions of lives, and created a phenomenon that will be remembered for years to come. But tonight, the story is a cautionary tale. A reminder that behind every viral performance, every trending hashtag, lies the reality of human choice. And as Oat whispered his final words in that live stream, I used BL for money. I'm sorry. I hope someday I can make it right. The world watched, hearts broken, emotions raw, and the name BoatOat forever etched in the annals of fandom history, both for its brilliance and its downfall. The quiet aftermath for weeks, BoatOat retreated from the spotlight. The bright lights of fan meetings and filming sets were replaced by long walks in quiet Bangkok streets, reflecting on years of partnership, trust, and friendship. Oat, meanwhile, faced the hardest challenge of his life. No longer could he rely on fame or fan devotion. Every action, every word, every public appearance was scrutinized. He began attending intensive media training, charity work, and private counseling, all in a desperate attempt to repair not just his public image, but his own conscience. Insiders noted the change immediately. Oat had gone from defensive and flustered to quiet, deliberate, and reflective. "He's no longer performing for applause," said one source. "He's performing to make himself a better person." The first step back together months after the scandal, Boat agreed to a private meeting with Oat, far from cameras and social media. They met in a quiet cafe on the outskirts of Bangkok. According to eyewitnesses, the tension was palpable. Neither man spoke for the first 10 minutes. Then Oat leaned forward. "I'm sincere, I know I betrayed you. I can't change that. But I want to prove that I'm not the same person who made that mistake." Boat listened silently. He didn't smile, didn't speak, but he nodded. It was the first sign that trust, however fragile, might be restored. Rebuilding trust through action. The reconciliation wasn't immediate. Oat began attending Boat's film sets, not as a co-star, but as a support, helping with stunts, production work, and fan events in a behind-the-scenes role. Every small act was a test, both for Oat and for Boat. Fans noticed subtle shifts too. Oat would post updates celebrating Boat's achievements. Boat, in interviews, would reference Oat respectfully, not as a colleague, but as someone who had been through the storm and returned. Slowly, the narrative began to shift. From scandal to growth. From betrayal to accountability. From heartbreak to redemption. The fan response. The fandom, initially divided, began to reconcile as well. Fan communities organized charity drives in Oat's name. They praised Boat for his patience and integrity. And they celebrated the idea that even in the world of fame, mistakes could be confronted, and growth could happen publicly. Comments on social media read, "They are human. They made mistakes. But they're learning. That's worth celebrating." Boat's strength, Oat's humility, this is a new chapter. The new project, a symbol of redemption. The turning point came when both men were approached to star in a new drama, a story about two friends overcoming betrayal and rebuilding trust. It was almost poetic, art imitating life. The first table read was tense. But by the end, both men were laughing together, joking about lines and character arcs. Crew members later admitted it was one of the most emotionally charged productions they had ever witnessed. "You could feel the history between them," said one producer. Every scene, every glance, carried the weight of their journey. A new legacy today. Boat and Oat are no longer just stars of Thai BL. They are symbols of accountability, growth, and the power of human forgiveness. Oat continues to work on rebuilding his career, balancing fame with humility. Boat has embraced his role as both a leading man and a mentor, someone who understands the price of trust and the beauty of second chances. And for the fans who watched it all unfold, the lesson is clear: sometimes the story doesn't end at the scandal. Sometimes, the story is just beginning, if you have the courage to face the truth, to apologize, and to rebuild what was broken. Because in the world of fame, the most extraordinary redemption isn't on camera. It's behind the scenes, in quiet actions, in sincere words, and in the slow, deliberate work of trust reclaimed.